The fragile 2-week ceasefire between the United States and Iran is scheduled to expire on Wednesday. If that deadline passes without a signed diplomatic agreement, the pause in hostilities ends, and the two nations return to a state of full-scale war. Over the weekend, the U.S. Navy intercepted and seized an Iranian-flagged vessel. This single maritime intervention has instantly transformed the scheduled peace negotiations into a ticking geopolitical time bomb. This map illustrates exactly where the seizure took place: the Strait of Hormuz, a geographical bottleneck barely 21 miles wide. Through this corridor, millions of barrels of oil travel to international markets daily. It is an irreplaceable artery for global energy. A military blockade or conflict here immediately cripples international trade, moving the impact far beyond the borders of the two nations involved. Look at these waters.
Naval destroyers and massive commercial cargo ships are forced to sail with almost zero navigational buffer. In a space this tight, a minor incident can trigger a massive chain reaction. Whoever controls the Strait of Hormuz effectively holds the global economy hostage. In Tehran, officials immediately categorized the weekend ship seizure as a direct violation of the fragile ceasefire terms. Iran's top negotiator, Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, responded with an absolute refusal to attend the upcoming peace talks while under military threat. Ghalibaf issued a strict warning: if the U.S. continues these operations, Tehran has prepared undisclosed new cards to reveal on the battlefield. This unyielding stance shifts the dynamic away from a peace negotiation into a dangerous game of military brinkmanship. In Washington, the administration is pursuing a dual-track strategy. Officially, they are still planning to send a high-level delegation to negotiate in Pakistan.
The team is heavy with top-tier administration figures: Vice President J.D. Vance, Jared Kushner, and Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff. But while the diplomats pack for Islamabad, President Trump is pursuing a strategy of maximalism in public, demanding absolute concessions from Tehran. The president addressed the expiring ceasefire deadline directly. He delivered a specific ultimatum: if the ceasefire expires without a breakthrough, lots of bombs start going off. Those extreme public threats are directly undermining the private, fragile diplomatic efforts required to end the war. Caught in the middle is the host city of Islamabad. Pakistani officials have frantically warned the U.S. administration that the president's public rhetoric is actively destroying the groundwork for the talks. For Iran to sit at the table, mediators insist the narrative must be framed as a mutual victory, a win-win scenario that allows both sides to save face. Instead, the Pakistani mediators are losing control of the process, boxed in by U.S. maximalism on one side and Iranian red lines on the other. The U.S. diplomatic team is still preparing to travel, while Tehran is actively threatening a total boycott of the session. The distance between the two parties is widening, exactly as the time left to bridge that gap is evaporating. If the delegations fail to meet in Islamabad, the fragile truce will dissolve without a backup plan. Failure to negotiate ensures that the return to war will be significantly more escalated than the conflict was 2 weeks ago. The aftermath is clearly defined. The president's promised barrage of bombs will face off against Iran's newly prepared battlefield cards. This escalation will center squarely over the vulnerable, congested waters of the Strait of Hormuz. The resulting damage threatens a total collapse in global trade and energy markets. The ticking clock leaves no room for delay.
The question is whether this immense pressure can force a diplomatic breakthrough, or if the Wednesday deadline will be the exact trigger that blows the ceasefire apart.